Alrighty guys, in today's video we're going to be looking at the snapping tool within FlexiPRINT. But before that, let's have a quick intro first. So today's video can be found on softwaretraining.co.za. We make short and easy to watch problem solving videos, and we also have daily updates. Now if we head into the program here. Now, like I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be looking at the snapping tool. This is very handy when you combine it with perhaps things like guides or grids. It can be combined with shapes as well. And then this will really help if you've got a template or you want to stick within certain design elements. There's obviously a whole list of things you could use it for, but in general, snapping is commonly used with stuff like guides and grids. So now in order to use snapping, we want to make sure it's enabled. So to do that, I'm just going to go to our main menu on top here. Let's quickly zoom in for you guys. Then we want to go to view, and then we want to go all the way down till we find snap. Then under snap, you'll see we've got a few different options here. We've got snap to point, guides, grids, and etc. But I found in order to use a snapping tool, it's nicer to have it visible. So you can either click here, snap tool bar, or we can on the top here next to our main toolbar, right click, and we go down till we find the snap to. I'm going to click that and it's going to open it. By default, it should make it into a floating window like this. And then all you can do is, if you want to dock it, is go here next to this icon. As soon as it's off, left click, hold, and drag it onto this open space. Place it, and then it's going to place it somewhere on here. If you want to rearrange it, go to those little dots, click and hold, and drag it to the place you want it. And now at the moment we don't have any snapping on. You can see all these tools are off. So I'm just going to make a quick few shapes, and then we can just look at snapping. So let's quickly add maybe let's make 2 rectangles and then maybe a circle. So now with these shapes selected, now we can actually start snapping things. So we're going to start with the first one, which is point. Now the point is pretty much a node point. So anything that's got nodes like vector shapes is going to have points. So this thing at the moment has 4 points over here. If I had to select our draw tool or the curve tool, I'm going to click just make a single point. So you guys can see that as well. So just zoom here so you can see there is a point. So I've got a single point here. So now when it comes to snapping, there's 2 main operators. Either we can move and snap, or we can adjust the scale and snap. So when it comes to the moving, if you had to click this thing, hold left mouse button in, you'll see our mouse cursor is at a certain location. Now wherever we started our click from, that's where it's going to snap it to. So if I go to the top right corner and I move it, once I get to this point, it's going to give us this icon will change. It gives us a snapping option. We kind of get stuck there for a bit. So keep just that in mind. So wherever your icon is, that's where it's going to snap to. So yeah, that is snap to point. So I can grab this one, do the same thing, and snap to points on this shape, and so forth. So then the next one we have is snap to edge. So that will be the second icon here in the drop down menu. The arrangement is going to be slightly different, but yeah, we've got the snap to edge. So I'm going to select that. Now what's going to happen is if I had to move this, once I get to this edge, you will see it locks it onto the edge of this shape, which can be handy, especially with round things. Or for instance, if we had to scale it. So like I said, there's 2 main ways. The one is we move it. The second one is scaling. So if I grab this scaling arm over here, or this node, this is zoom here, and if I left click, drag this, and once it gets to this edge, you can see that it snaps it on for us. So then so that is another way we can go about it. Now obviously if I was, let's say, on point, and I grab this point, and then I'll shift, once I get to this point, it will snap it there. So now our vertical and our horizontal points are aligned to this shape. Then let's just change the color of this so it's a little bit more obvious. Here we go. Okay, next up we've got intersection, or snapping to wherever it intersects. So what this comes down to is, let's say I've got two shapes here. Let's maybe change the color of one. Now at the moment here we've got two intersecting points, so we've got one over here and then we've got one over here where the two shapes overlap. So now if I had to select this and then either move it and get to that point, it will snap, or if I had to scale this, and once it smacks that point, you can see there it snaps. At the moment we still have points selected snapping on as well, so if I take that off, you will see it will no longer snap to these points, but only there where it intersects. So that's also a handy one to have. Then the last one from these kind of points and that, we've got the snapping to center of mass. So what this will pretty much do, it will just snap our shapes to the center of this shape. So, but keep in mind, like I said, if you're using a move tool, wherever you've clicked, that's going to be your origin for the snapping. Now same with scaling, if I had to scale this, and once I get to that point, it will snap it to the center of this mass. So depending on whatever you have selected. Then we have the last two. This is probably the most used one. So we've got snapping to guides. So let's say we've got okay, let's first want to put on, make sure we have our guide shown, which will be this second last one here, the eye with a little line that's showing guides. Then I want to make sure the snap to guides are selected. Now if we had to add guides in here, like with others, if I had to click and drag this, then this will actually snap it to our guides, which you can imagine how that's very handy, especially if you set up your guides with exact measurements on that, then you can easily have that snap in there. Then the last one we have is snap to grid. So I'm just gonna let's quickly have it so we can see the grid. You can see our grid is set up there every 5 centimeters, and then I'm gonna put snap to grid. Now likewise inside here, as I scale this, it will snap to these grid blocks, which is very nice if you're working on multiple shapes that has a similar design requirement, and it will snap it to those grids. Very handy, and like I mentioned, a tool that you use often. So just a quick recap, we're not going to go through all the different snapping options, but if you want this tool on top here, just right click, go down to snap, and then dock it up here, and then on the right here we've got the view options for our grids and guides, and then we have our snap to the guides or grid, and then we have all our other node type snapping. But yeah, otherwise in the meanwhile, if we head here to softwaretraining.co.za, you guys will notice we've got a variety of different softwares we do cover, and you can also isolate your searching on the top right. If you do not however find the training videos you're looking for, just simply go here, request the training video, fill in the mini form, and then we'll do our best to try and make that for you. But otherwise, thanks guys for watching, and cheers.